Yep, separated. So we're tearing the excursion apart. Got a whole plan here.
Yep.
Teaching the future generation.
Yep.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. You got to do it all.
And it already had standpipes and dummy plugs.
Well, it had standpipes, dummy plugs.
And the pump. Here, I'll show you the pump. Somebody did. The pump is a reman. You can tell from the orange O-ring. And we know it's had some injectors done, but we haven't made it that far yet.
Sometimes the O-rings will get chewed.
But Anthony's teaching.
It's way down here, and it's this long. So at the bottom of this is a metal tube that goes down and intersects with this. Yeah, like a plumbing fitting, right? So that's what it is with it. It'll separate this out and it'll stay on. Remember I was talking about the standpipes we have. The standpipes available nowadays, kind of stuff. Whatever. So now we'll pull the other side. Are you gonna pull the other side out? Put it right here on this. Put a little. All we're doing is cracking it just a little bit. It's going to be hard to do, and then it'll just pop free. Yeah, watch your fingers too.
There you go. Weston got it. Here we go, teaching the future.
Yeah, but okay, now we got to be careful.
So it's coming apart. We'll have an update on the heads pretty soon. That one came apart too.
Okay, so the excursion's got a full set of reman injectors. Got a full set, and I'm a picky sumbitch. I'm so picky that I look at little stuff like that, like it being crooked. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I can't stand to leave that like that. Like I'm about to fix it before I take it apart. That doesn't make any freaking sense, but you know, maybe they could have taken a little hurry up time right there. Just bang it in, who cares? I guess. But we still use guide studs also. Guide studs pull oil rails off. Those of you know that. So, yeah, we're breaking down the excursion. Here we are. We just opened the door first time. We banged the heads off this morning. Look at the cylinder walls. Got a little shading on it. It's not dirt. Well, some of it might be dirt. A little bit there too. So with that said, when we do that, with those cylinder heads looking like that, we really are not too thrilled about putting a fresh set of heads on existing cylinders. The heads and the cylinders are supposed to wear together. So if we go, I haven't decided what we're gonna do with the cylinder heads yet. They're still over there. I have not decided yet, so. Got a bunch of parts off. The head gaskets did not stick to the deck. The deck really does, I mean, they all look like crap, but seems like it's the ones that we're standing in front of always look worse than any other one we remember, right? So this one looks pretty freaking bad. I mean, my thought was that they might have like done head gaskets because the gaskets were not stuck at all. Like the heads came right off and the gaskets came right off. So I think this is an example of not enough prep on the deck surfaces when they did head gaskets. So it's probably just taking it apart, kind of cleaning it very minuscule, and then putting it back together. I think that's what happened. Now they didn't do too bad. A lot of the stuff was put back. Everything was, there wasn't a lot of messed up stuff. The problem is this leak down here. That bed plate leak. Now we have to watch cleaning that. If we clean too much of that bed plate, we could actually make it leak worse. And I mean, if you look at the bottom of the bell housing, it's been wet. There's drips all over it. I mean, granted, we took the engine apart, but it was wet. I think I showed it. So that bed plate leak it's a big deal. That is not something, there is not going to be another time to do a bed plate leak unless something catastrophic happens to the engine. I wonder how much it would be. I hadn't really thought about that. To go in and have tunnel vision and only do a bed plate. Because if you're going to do a bed plate, the rear cover's coming off. And if the rear cover's coming off, the lifters are right there and they'll be available and ready to go. So, justification is a son of a gun. Like, look at this front cover too. Hang on, it's dark in here. I've actually never had this done before. We got the doors open all the way through. It's pretty warm in here. Okay, now, yeah, I mean, if we want to risk that, you see how it's like wet right along the whole bed plate? Now that's just a seep, not a big deal at all, right? I guess. I mean, but there was a drip on the bottom of the bell housing before I touched it, which means so it has ran down. And the only thing that we can guarantee will never happen, well, it's not going to get better. Okay, but we could also make it worse even by cleaning it. Just if we hot see it, then we could wind up knocking out the dirt that's helping keep oil in. Because we're kind of crazy if we don't think that a bed plate leak right there is actually helping to hold the oil in, because there's no pressure behind the oil there, not really. It's just splash. And if, you know, power wash that dirt out of there, then now we've actually cleaned the channel to get the oil out, you know, so it could actually leak worse. So with that said, what do? We leave it all nasty, don't even touch it, don't do nothing to it. See, me in all my fashion, I want to take that front cover off. I want to take it off and start it to look like this, even though it ain't done. That one ain't done, but it's close. So if we want to put all this together, I mean, I guess we could do not what Super Resurface always does, you know, because what we do is pretty involved above and beyond just studs. I had to find a bunch of tools that, shoot, I wasn't even thinking about needing until we actually got to the point, like guide studs and all the stuff we use to take an engine apart. You know, we just moved the whole freaking shop. So we're starting to learn where things go, you know. And then so this one just needed some head gaskets, and you know, what do you guys think? What do you think we should do? What should we do? Just because we could start on the deck surfaces. Actually, I want to do that. Let's we got the engine harnesses hanging. Let's go look at those too, because I'll come back to that. Got the battery cable and the block heater too. Hang on just a second. There you go. Let me show you close what they look like. Right. I mean, oh, the injector harness is still a little dirty down there, isn't it? I think we'll be fine with it. I love what that ultrasonic does. It's so freaking awesome. Let's go this way. So I got a battery cable. And let me set that down. Fan stator. I mean, yeah, it's almost there. I've already done this side. What I'm doing is this under here. So I'll just take it and splash it around a little bit. Take it out, bring it right over here to the sink, and boom, spray it off. But that's a kind of a two-handed gig. These look good. I mean, I'm talking about the combustion chamber side of it and how the valves are. That looks like hammered horse crap. But, I mean, they look good. They look like they've been having clean burns. And so now we're deciding, what is our process going to be? So we could tear them apart, which that was my initial plan, is to take all the valves out, completely bare the heads, and keep track of where each valve is. We can do that very easily. And take them apart, clean them, put new valve seals on them, and surface them. That way I can get all the soot out of the intake ports. Freaking sucks to surface these things with all the soot still in the intake ports, and it's just like glue. It's like a freaking magnet. Any metal flying within 14 miles is going to land on that soot and be in the engine. Okay, that's a little extreme. I know. Coolant force is pretty good. And so if we pull them apart and just put them back together. Now I know a lot of people, this is trivial stuff to them because they don't give a damn. They want a fresh set of heads on their engine, and I'm not that. I think if we put a fresh set of heads, we need to do cylinders and rings. We need to at least ball hone with a set of rings or something. We have to change something on the bottom end in order to change something on the top end. So if I grind them, that's like almost not even an option. because we grind those valves and seal them all up. It's just, I mean, we got an engine that's pretty good. Now, you can't really place this engine on what I'm even talking about now, because it's only a 95,000 mile engine, which still has some wear. You know, it still has a little wear. And I haven't even, obviously they're still dirty. I haven't checked the valves to see if they're sealed, but I imagine they're fairly good. So we could take it apart and put it back together, take it apart, clean it, surface it, hope like heck hope our recession is good, and put it back together and put them on. Or we can take them apart and do a lap. We could lap the valves in just a little bit and put them back together, only because we got them apart. I kind of feel weird putting valves together without lapping it. You know, I just at least one lap just to get the check the pattern, make sure it's good. But so I'm torn which way you want to go. You know, the part of me, I started banging shit apart over there. I was planning on taking the engine out and taking a crank, rebuilding that thing. If that's the case, then this is already bare heads and they're in the cleaner, because we're going to cut seats and everything. So, I mean, put a leash on me. That's what I've always said. Put a leash on me. Otherwise, I'm going to run and I'm going to do stuff that probably ain't even needed. So keep that in mind. Once that 6-liter came into existence and you wound up having to stud the engine, is when General Mechanics 101 completely flew out of everybody's window. They had no idea you know, if you grind valves, you do rings. It's one thing. It's like so. Once 6-liter came out, everybody figured, oh, I gotta be studded. Oh, I gotta get the freshest, coolest set of heads from the awesomest name I could think of, right? So they throw them on, and then now we've got a bunch of trucks with blow-by, because the heads are sealed and the rings are leaking, and it will actually make the rings leak more. So anybody that says, oh, my rings ain't leaking, shut the hell up. Yeah, it is. And the valves are genuinely the same amount, right? The ring, they've been in service the same amount of time. So the ring is wearing, it's starting to seal less and less, and the valves are starting to seal less and less at the same rate, right? They're wearing together. So you're getting a little bit of blow-by, and the rest of it's pushing out the exhaust and back in the intake and maybe a little popping. So when the 6-liter came in existence, everybody wanted to be studded. Well, a lot of people needed to be studded. Like yours. Joey's truck right now has got head gaskets blown. He can't even drive it when it's cold.
Yeah, no, heat sucks.
Yeah. So for some reason, we just threw General Engine Mechanics 101 out the freaking window, that you should act like the engine is one thing, you know, not heads and block, right? That they act as one thing when it's running. So why are we going to treat one to the utmost respect and leave the rest of it to shit? So if we do that, expect a little blow-by. Exhausts are deep. We can have a little contest and see if you can tell how many thousandths down it is. This decides, the gap right here decides how much we can surface. That would be I mean, because if we're going to go for not disrupting the valves, then we need to not get the recession below 15 thousandths. That needs to be at least 15 thousandths below that. At least. Now, the more, your truck's just going to run like crap, but it'll be fine. But if you can get 15, 17, 20 thousandths after surfacing it, then that one's deep. That one's real deep. That's probably at 30,000 all day right there. But if we can get it surfaced and get it clean and still be above 15 thousandths on every one of these, then we don't have to at least correct any geometry. That's what I'm saying. So in order to correct the geometry of the valve seats, we have to cut them. Now, I guess we could cut them and then put a gouge in the side of it to make it leak. No, you know, so it's either disrupt them or not. And what do you think? What are your guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on this opinion? Let me know. When the deck surface looks that bad, there ain't a rat's chance in holy nothing that I'm going to be able to measure from this metal to there. This has got to be cleaned. Some of that stuff is 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 thousandths deep is the crap. A head gasket is 50 thousandths deep. over 50 thousandths, and there's crap that accumulates, and this is burnt up crap right here. You can't measure valve recession, so let's get these clean. We got 20 thousandths here. We measured our low ones, 21 here, so we got 20, so we can take 3 off of it. Shit, most of them take like 6 just to take the bow out of them. You know, we got 21 here, and we got a 20 right here. So we're about the same. We've got, if we want to go to 15 thousandths, then we got, 5 thousandths to cut off. That could possibly be workable. Now, and then we think about that, it's now we've got we close the compression a little bit here. And the decks, now, okay, who cares about the rings? Because we're not going to be touching the valves. We're planning as though we're not even touching them. We're just going to surface it. And whether or not we even take them out, we can take them out and put them back in the same holes. But then we've got a head gasket that has to hold all that compression, right? So now that we looked at the heads, I actually probably should go see what the deck surface looks like and find out if we're very, very happy with it. Right? Before we decide what the heck we're even going to do here. Because, I mean, wind up with a line in it, like on Cody's block. And then we have to actually cut it. Let's hope not. All right, let's go do that. So it's not final cleaned yet, but we do have the surfaces touched. Went ahead and cleaned off on the top too. The sides all about the same too. Remember, this is going to be existing, so we're not tearing it out and rebuilding. This spot right there. The heads are over here. We are planning on surfacing these, so I think I already showed that. I've been over there cleaning the block. I forgot what I've already done. Gabe polished on some parts. He's one of the kids here in school. Botech. He's doing all right. It looks, still got a little work to do on it, but looks pretty good. Cleaning on the rocker box. What's going on in here? What is this? It's been over here running for a good long. Oh, it's actual parts. Okay. So now I'm gonna get the brake clean out and clean all the bolt holes. It's a pain in the butt, but it's got to be done.
You hit the go button? Checking it.
Yeah, we're gonna set the end. Holy crap! Oh my god! Holy goodness! Okay, so 90. Ah, watch this. Watch now. You see why I'm freaking out. Hang on. Let me set my end to cut. I'll take it a little further and set the end. Now watch this. It's at 90, right? First level, I just threw it on there. I put it on, threw the level on it. Watch, I say that now. I mean, it could turn all haywire, but here we go. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Hey, buddy. Okay, so we'll take it down to 0. Actually, I mean, I'm not in that big of a hurry. I'll actually take it to -1. And then, and cut that. That way I can listen to it. Because it's been a couple days since I've ran it, so sometimes things, I didn't even throw the level on the machine. All I care about is that this thing cuts good. Yeah, well, I thought I was on a good level. It only hit right there, so I guess I could set it on the machine. I probably should. Just keep an eye on it for a little bit. But so I need to drop this corner down, raise everything else up, just a fraction to it. Holy goodness, look at that, we got it. See how it starts? There, to there, and there, to there. So if you look at the whole cylinder head, we start at the end of my fingers, and there, that. I mean, if we're a little bit higher on that side than we are this side, but just a fraction, just a little bit, only because it stopped cutting right here. And that one cut past the first cylinder. I mean, that one almost cut past the first cylinder. I like that. It's consistent though. So again, that is beautiful. That is exactly what you want to see when you're surfacing the cylinder head or engine block, anything. That's perfect. That means we're on it. We got like a circle going there. It shows you that it was bowed down. Okay, so there we go. Let's do one more and see what it see if it cleans that up any better, but I'll call that pretty freaking good. Let's just see. Okay, here is the second head. I kind of fought it a little bit getting it set up. Oh. And that was just starting. Oh, it's off level. It's off. Dang it. Fighting the level. It's not happy with me. I mean, it's freaking close. See, it took a whole bunch of that out, but then nothing, which means we're pretty level this way. We're pretty good. It started there and ended there. That's pretty good. But then when it gets over here, we've got a little bit that it touched off. So that little fraction of amount, I think that is actually, I set that at negative, which it should have been negative, but it was negative right there is where I set it, and it didn't touch there, but it touched over here where it was wavy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit more and leave it on this level and see how this reacts, but it's probably, well, let's just see. Well, it's cutting good. Let's see when it stops. See, I'll watch, just watching the cylinder head, and when it stops cutting, it stops making all that noise, then make a middle note when it starts cutting on the other side. Let's see, we'll see how it is. Pretty much done right there. It did one cylinder. That's just cutting air now. I want it to get past, and it gets about right here before it starts cutting again. I'm afraid it's going to be a little before. It kind of feels like it's going to be about halfway through that cylinder. Let's see. We're halfway. Oh no, we might be good. The longer until it starts cutting, the better we're going to be on level. Yeah. Okay, now we need it to start cutting, dang it. It needs to start cutting now. There it is. Now I can start cutting. Yeah, buddy. I like that a lot. You see that? It's cut right there. And it's cut from there over to there. So that is freaking golden. We couldn't ask for anything better than that. So now let's chop it down. Well, that was a pretty deep cut. I cut about 2 thousandths out on that one. And I mean, it's just, that's what all the cylinder heads are. Obviously this one was not cut. It was had factory mill marks on it, which are long gone now. So let's do what, another one maybe? Let's see how we did. I know it didn't get it all because it was still making all kinds of, yeah, it almost went away right there. Dang. Dang. So, I mean, we're pushing 6,000s, 7,000s on this. Well, dude, look, it didn't even hit that. Okay, so I have got the block ready to reassemble. The deck surface is ready to reassemble. Got cylinders oiled. Now we went ahead and cut it. We cut it and left the valves in it. I got 18, 18, 18, 17. Okay, 17. My opinion is that we're straining the head gasket, but because it's a little bit higher compression, but 17 should be okay. Now I only have 2 problem cylinders. So that one's gonna be the back, so that'll be number 7. So cylinder 7, I need to check protrusion on. And then we come to this side, and I've got a 14.5. 14.5, I don't know that I want to ride with 14.5. I'm not sure. We might want to pop that one out and lap it down a little bit. Try to get a couple thousandths out of it. Bring it up a little bit. 17 is, I mean, like I said, 17 is pushing. We got a 17.5, 17, 17.5, 18.5. You know, a lot of these, it was a little sketchy. That 14 right there is the lowest one I got. So that one right there might cause me to get to pop that apart. I'm gonna drag. We'll see what the protrusion is. Cause honestly, if the protrusion is way down, you know, if we've got, I don't know, down in the 20s, if we're 25 thousandths on protrusion, then I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna call that good. That 14.5 will be all right. Depends on what that protrusion is. So, yeah. That's it for the night.